Greetings again. I'm Dr. Donald Hill, the Medical Arts Clinic, President of the Jefferson County Hospital Foundation. And today's program is going to be on an area of the hospital some of you may not be aware exists, or because it's been so much behind the scenes. But it's not really behind the scenes because it's had a very important impact in our hospital. And I know I speak on behalf of the physicians on how happy we are and grateful we are for the participation of the Jefferson County Hospital Auxillary. We're standing today in the solarium. And today we are pleased to have Dorothy Henderson, President of Jefferson County Hospital Foundation, who's going to give us a brief introduction about the Auxiliary and take us through the hospital and some of the things that they've done on our behalf to help provide health care to the citizens of Jefferson County Hospital and the Fairfield community. Before we go into that, though, I want to put a plug in for our foundation. The foundation is supported primarily by your contributions. Recently, you've seen advertisements in the newspaper, publicity related to Trip of the Month, where we've raised money to help on the defibrillator program, where we had the machines to help start the heart if they should stop. And I'm pleased to say we've got now about 8 to 9 defibrillators in the community, and letters are out into private businesses who have a certain number of population-based employees to try to get them to see if they're interested in purchasing one of these at a discount, with the discount being obtained through the foundation in cooperation with the Jefferson County Hospital Foundation. You've seen us also sponsor health fairs. We've been active with different things around the community, and we're just excited today about what the hospital or auxiliary has to do with Jefferson County Hospital. So I'm going to start in by introducing Dorothy Henderson, who I want to say was my grade school teacher. I won't say what grade so we don't give anything away. Was my grade school teacher when I at Roosevelt School when I was a kid growing up in Fairfield, and how good things keep coming back and staying in Fairfield, just like our hospital and auxiliary. So Dorothy, I'm going to ask you to tell us what you do, a little bit about the foundation as we begin to show what the auxiliary has done for the hospital. Dorothy?
Well, that's a big assignment because, as I've often told people, before I came on the board 9 years ago, I had no idea that the auxiliary did the things that they do. And I've used the expression, it blows my mind to think that a group of mostly retired ladies like myself, we're fortunate to have a few younger ones, but it's mostly retired ladies that do all the work that the auxiliary does. And so since we're in the solarium, we'll start with that this was one of our projects, just a few, well, it wasn't totally ours, but we did make a sizable contribution to this solarium. And we have paid for the furnishings in here. And the lovely pictures that you see hanging on the wall came later. And then over here in this corner, Richard, if you want to get that, I'll not go over there, but we have this lovely fountain was a memorial to one of our former presidents, Betty Keller, whom we lost in '98, I think, was when we lost her.
I think it's important, though. I think you're being a little humble here, Dorothy, because I found out from one of our hospital representatives that the auxiliary gave over $55,000 toward the construction of the solarium. That's no small amount. People think about donations, a few $100s, a few thousand, but $55,000 really surprised me. That's really a noble gesture, and I know that's just one small item of what you've done. And I didn't realize you gave the furnishings also besides.
Well, I'm glad you keep figures in your head because I'm not one to remember figures, and the auxiliary women are so busy doing things that we don't take time to keep track of what we've been doing sometimes. But if you'll forgive me, I have to rely on some notes because I can't begin to remember all that we've done. One thing that comes to my mind is that we have furnished all the beds for the hospital since the auxiliary was organized in 1960.
That's all the beds. All the hospital beds that we have our patients in.
Right.
Donated by the auxiliary.
Right.
Wow.
And we're now replacing these beds because that's been 40 years ago. Well, sometime way back when they started doing it. And it's a 4-year project at $30,000 a year, which will be a total of $120,000 to replace the beds. But while we're here in the long-term care unit, would you like to just have us walk through some of the things we've done?
I think it'd be great just to get a
Okay.
good picture of what's going on here.
I'll take you first to the beauty shop, which was a project, not too many years ago.
Well, I could use a good haircut. Can you cut hair too, Dorothy, besides be president of the hospital auxiliary?
I don't do that. We have Bev Blakely is our chairman in charge of the beauty shop and sees that things are kept up and that everything is there that is needed. And she reported at our meeting yesterday that she wants a new bowl here. So one of these bowls is going to go up to second floor so that patients up there can have their shampoos as they need them. So we're going to just let that go to second floor, and we're going to replace with a new one here. And it's been a number of years. I think this was probably shortly after I came on the board 9 years ago. But since then we have redecorated, and you'll notice a lovely P. Buckley moss here and clocks, and it's just these little touches that we like to add to make things homey.
I have to admit, this is the first time I've ever been in here, and I did not realize the Auxiliary had done this. So if the staff doesn't realize it, I'm sure a lot of the community doesn't realize it.
Right.
There again, we're not talking small change here either.
No, we're talking big bucks. Okay, we'll go now to the, is it okay to go in there? We'll go now to the bathing room, and this was one of our projects. And let's see, I have some figures on this. This is a project in the year 2000 that we just redid this whole thing, decorated. We even have, as I understand, the towel bar is a warmer that warms the towel so that when the patients are ready to be dry, they can have a nice warm towel. And this project, even though it doesn't look like much, I do have the figure on this. This alone was close to $8,500.
Now, my understanding, they use this actual lift mechanism, so that people who are handicapped, with, for example, arthritis or stroke, whatever reason, this gets them into a tub, and this also has a whirlpool feature, if I remember too, so they get a therapeutic benefit besides a cleansing benefit by using this at the same time. Really makes it unique, just versus a traditional bath. Richard, you look like you're ready to jump in there any time.
We won't charge you anything.
So must not pool towel today.
You don't even get that in the most deluxe hotels.
That's right.
Something you have to pay extra for.
Oh, I know there's some other equipment here in the hospital, I know over the years, that you've been very responsible for getting involved here. I know the mammogram, and I wouldn't mind going down looking at some of these areas too.
Right. Well, throughout the years, we have purchased many things, and I can't begin to tell you all that they were. It just seemed to me that when our former administrator, Walt Brownlee, would come to the auxiliary and say, we need such and such, and the ladies would talk it over, and they'd say, well, we think we can do that. And first thing we know, we'd vote that we would buy the mammography machine, and I think I remember you coming and telling us about something that would test the hearing of newborns.
I did. We had a project when we started out a universal hearing program in the state of Iowa. And we were one of the earlier hospitals in rural Iowa to get where we did screening on all newborns to check for hearing loss. And I approached Auxiliary about helping us purchase these devices that detect hearing loss in newborns. That's right. That's
one
been
of the
a few
things,
years ago.
It's one of the things I remember, though. I just put down a few because there's just so many. Maybe you can help us go through
Why
some of
don't we
them.
take a break and let's go buy one of those machines so we just see some other items that we've had purchased by the auxiliary. So I think the audience will be impressed with some of the other equipment that's been involved with the hospital.
And we also, while we're here in long-term care, we have furnished many of the things in the rooms throughout the years.
Televisions, I heard even.
Yes,
Yeah.
and just many items. And at Christmas time, we have a party every year for the long-term patients. We give them a gift. Sometimes the gift has been something for the whole unit. Sometimes it is individual gifts. It just varies from year to year what we do. And in recent years, we have even seen fit that Santa comes on Christmas Eve and leaves stockings on every door.
I tell you what, Richard, why don't we, if we could we take a picture down the hallway so people can see what long-term care unit actually looks like? This was the original, what we called the medical floor back a few years ago, back in the 80s when we had surgical and medical floor. And there was a time when we had a real crunch on hospital beds. There was a lot of government regulations coming in where a lot of hospital beds were shutting down. And the hospital had the foresight to realizing that it was difficult to keep people in the hospital for various reasons, for insurance, Medicare, etc., that they decided to utilize this space. And now we have long-term care, which is our nursing home section of the hospital, where we have an actual waiting list on people to come into these rooms and get good nursing care. I would say we do have excellent nursing homes in the area also at Parkview and Nelson's, but the hospital in itself has this also available for people who want to be in this vicinity. And so I know the Auxillary has had a lot to do with the pictures and furnishings, and they're all nice rooms. But this just gives you kind of an idea of how nice this floor is as part of the hospital. Oftentimes an area where people aren't seeing this unless they have a loved one here in long-term care. So why don't we go look for another item here that the Auxiliary's been important. But we're going to have some other areas too. We're going to be looking at the gift shop and eventually the bargain box too. We're now in the lobby of the hospital, and we initially were going to go look at an item of one of the machines here in the hospital, but we're going to do that a little bit later because one of the patients was using it. Didn't want to step into them at that certain type that they might not want us to. But we're here at the information desk. This is a new program the hospital's initiated, and I'm going to kind of turn it over to Judy and Dorothy and kind of give us an idea of what the information desk is, right, located here in Jefferson County Hospital lobby. Judy?
Well, one of the new services that Jefferson County Hospital has just started, it started October 1st, and it's the information desk. The minute someone walks in our door, we have a gracious volunteer from the Jefferson County Hospital Auxillary that asks, may I help you, and provides services to them. Possibly they need a wheelchair, possibly they need to have someone walk them to a specific department if they're going to have x-ray or lab. We provide educational materials to the people. One of the benefits that we also do, we find that so many times when you are using your insurance card, it seems to get kind of frayed. And so one of the services that they do is they laminate insurance cards, Social Security cards, and that really preserves it for the longevity of however long you're going to be needing this. We're very happy when we sent out our letter to all the auxiliarians that 35 individuals volunteered to man our desk. And so the volunteers are here from 9 to noon and noon to 3. And they put on a cheery smile. They offer refreshments here in the lobby for the people that are waiting for maybe a family member that's had surgery, or they're waiting for a family member that's possibly had a procedure done here at the hospital. We provide educational materials, as I said before, but we also provide a very friendly smile that shows compassion and caring. And we thank the Auxiliary so much for these wonderful volunteers that we have. We have had wonderful comments from the people outside the community saying, I was so impressed coming into your hospital. The minute I walked in the door, someone was saying, may I help you? After they left the information desk, they went to the front desk and they said, may I help you? So this is a wonderful service that we are providing to everyone that enters the doors of Jefferson County Hospital.
And I'd like to add to that, Judy, that the ladies who are volunteering are enjoying it very much. I'm getting a lot of feedback from the auxiliary members that it's something they enjoy doing.
I think what's good to know also, besides just telling us things about the hospital, they've got advertisements for certain programs, like we have a blood sugar screening program coming up with dates, lipid screening. There's some guidelines about mammography, specialty clinic information is here about when we have our specialists come here, when they're going to be here. We have the diabetes overview clinic scheduled for November 20th. So there's a lot of information she has to hand out to patients when they come in, not just saying where should I go or where do I need to be. She has information for people as they walk in also. So tell me, Jane, what was the lunch menu for the day? Can you tell me what was on the lunch menu for the day?
No, I can't. I wasn't here for
I knew I'd get her on one little item right there because I haven't had my lunch yet today. Well, anyway, thank you for Jane for letting us barge in on your time here and put you on a spot here. You have a nice smile. And I was surprised. 35 volunteers, did you say?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's,
and some of them are snowbirds so that they go
Yeah.
south for the wintertime, so we do need to have that many staff.
that's quite a commitment.
Yes,
So
it
thank
is.
you, Jane, and thanks to the volunteers who are manning this desk because I think it is a nice advantage to have this here.
And they do it, some do it, twice a month, some every week,
Right,
and it just varies as to how much time they had to give.
Right.
They are enjoying doing it. I enjoyed it the time I did it. We also take the newspapers to the rooms and
Deliver flowers,
deliver flowers, and I enjoyed doing that.
correspondence to the patients that are here.
People enjoyed visiting with you when you took the newspaper in, so it's just,
How about a song and dance routine? Have you thought about that yet?
we'll work on it.
Okay. Well, why don't we take a look at the auxiliary gift shop? Because I know that's really a treat that people are going to be wanting to see and be surprised when they see what the hospital has. Probably one of the finer stores in Fairfield.
It is.
I'm now located in front of the gift shop at Jefferson County Hospital. And before you even go in, it's Christmas. And it's exciting. When you go in the store, I know you're going to be pleasantly surprised. And what we'd like to do is just look around and see what the hospital has here and talk to a few of the volunteers who have been committed to make this thing work. And then we're going to get back to Dorothy and Judy as we do some more things to talk about what the auxiliary does here. So come on in, Richard. Let's take a look at the gift shop. This has been going on for several years, But I tell you, every year it's growing and getting better and better every year. And I've already got my Christmas list started already. And my wife, for example, my daughters always love coming in here, and they rarely will leave without wanting something in here. So I'm going to just walk with us where Richard kind of does a little panoramic here, and ask these nice, kind ladies to introduce themselves, and go back and we'll ask a few questions and we'll get information about what this place does. I'm going to ask the first lady sitting down here. I'm going to step right in front of you here. And could you give us your name, please?
I'm Jean Davis.
And what are you doing here today, Jean?
I'm a volunteer. I come in every Thursday.
Wow, and you do that about every Thursday you come in here?
Mostly.
Run the cash register and
Right.
buy things once in a while?
Well, yeah, occasionally.
Well, that's good. Now, how many hours do you put in here when you're on a Thursday?
3 hours.
And roughly how many hours is the gift shop open on a daily basis?
Well, let's see. It opens at 9 in the morning and closes at 5:30 most afternoons.
Wow.
Sometimes there's someone here in the evening, but mostly we
So
close at
usually
5:30.
Monday through Fridays, pretty much at least 9 to 5 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, great.
Saturdays.
We appreciate your volunteer effort.
There are also people here Saturday and Sunday.
Awesome.
I'm not here those days, so I wasn't sure.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here as a volunteer, and thank you for letting us put you on television.
Okay.
We'll get your autograph at the end of the show here.
Okay.
Thank you. I have two other ladies. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit who they are and what they're doing here, and then maybe walk us through the gift shop and just go show us a few items so they know what's going on here. This nice lady, I'll ask her to first introduce herself.
Jan Espy.
And what do you do, Jan?
Well, Dolph and I manage the gift shop, and so that means a little bit of everything. We buy for the shop and stock and clean, and what else do we do?
Price.
Price.
And your name's Dolph. What's your last name?
Dolpha, Ewell.
Dolph O'Ewell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're kind of a co-management type situation here.
Right.
You get along just
Team.
fine.
We're a team.
We're a team.
Been doing this for a while.
Couple years?
2 years, I
Couple
think.
years.
How many years do you think you've got combining here of auxiliary experience, so as far as working with the auxiliary?
The three of us, you mean?
Yeah. How many do you think we'd have together?
How long have you been?
That doesn't give away on age or anything like
No.
that. That's just a,
Probably 5 years altogether. I'm probably 5 years, and you're
And
more than
probably 15.
15. So there's 20, about 25 years added experience working in this gift shop just with 3 volunteers. That speaks well of the Fairfield community, I think, and the support we give to this hospital. Well, anyway, I just impressed by all the nice little things in here, and this is the kind of store my wife loves, and it makes me nervous. But can we just kind of do a little pattern? Can you just kind of, like, where do you get these items at, ladies? I mean, do you buy them locally, or do you order this out of catalogs, or how do you come about getting these articles?
We have a sales rep that comes for some of our items, but most of them are ordered out of catalogs. Someday we're going to go to market.
Well, that'd be nice. Maybe go on the web or internet. Right. And so you kind of just learn by experience what people like and what they come shopping for. Now, do most of the things that are in here, are they bought for patients, or do you find people coming here buying gifts just to buy gifts for friends and family, or?
Both.
Okay.
We certainly want to provide for the people in the hospital who live here and work here, but we also expect guests to come in, and they do quite regularly, to buy. They found that this is kind of a unique shop, and it's fun to shop here.
Do you take things on credit? No.
Just for you.
Okay, well, thank
Just
you.
for Dr.
Thank you.
Hill.
I feel better already. Well, anyway, it looks like you kind of go by season. I've noticed over the years you put things season. Like there's always Easter things out at Easter, and now we're developing the Christmas themes. We had the Christmas tree outside, and so
We
that
still
takes a
have
lot of time.
The fall things on this table.
So when do you do all this? I mean, the store's open 9 to 5. I don't see people here scurrying around doing the shelves. Do we have volunteers working evenings, stocking shelves and cleaning?
You're looking at her. She spends a lot of time here at night, but it is easier for us.
I'll answer that one. Jan's probably too modest to say she practically lives here. These two do.
So Jan's almost a full-time employee without salary then.
I can see the light of the gift shop from my house, and I often see it on at night, and I think, well, Jan's up there, Jan and Dolph are up there working.
Well, that's a lot of hard work, and we appreciate that, because just looking at all the items, this is no small task, keeping it stocked, and also just knowing what marketability you have in your items here. That takes some experience. What do you think, Richard? Would you ready to buy anything as you're going around with your camera here today?
But you need test tube babies.
Test tube babies. And I haven't heard about that one
Maybe
yet.
it's a bear or something.
Well, anyway, I want to say thank you on here
We
showing
want
us
to tell
this.
you something that we do.
Okay.
I'll show you something that we do. Not here in the gift shop, but the auxiliary. Every child that comes into ER that is traumatized or every child that has one-day surgery or is admitted to the hospital through the auxiliary is given this Muffles bear. And there's compliments of Jefferson County Hospital.
It does say
on the back
that.
of his ear.
And I've seen those in the emergency room, but I really never tied that together.
It comes
There
from the
again, as a
auxiliary
physician,
ladies.
not even realizing that's a program that you folks support.
That's one of the things. It's fun.
Yes, it
Because
is.
the nurses feedback how it helps the children to settle
Yes.
down or to.
I've seen the kids' eyes, how they light up when they get that teddy bear.
Yeah.
It's sure better than a stick of gum or a sticker, believe me, that's
Right.
Well, the auxiliary is always given a coloring book and crayons,
Yes.
but there's sometimes like in ER that doesn't
They
quite
just need
do it
something to
when
hug.
they've
Yes.
had stitches or something, and so this is something new that the auxiliary is doing.
Well, I think that the crowd is going to be impressed when they see this on television, the gift shop, because it seems like I'm in some large city shopping area. This could be downtown New York for all I care what I'm seeing here today. And been downtown New York, and I'm sure your prices are more competitive than theirs.
Yes, they are.
So anyway, thank you for showing us the gift shop. This is one of the hidden treasures of Fairfield, and I do encourage the community to come here and do some shopping.
We also wanted to say that Mildred Morton does all our calling, and she's been in the auxiliary for years, and now she's retired and doing the calling for the 70-plus volunteers that we have. So we really appreciate her.
70
effort.
plus.
70-plus volunteers. We usually use about half of those each month, and it rotates, and we have many, like Jean, that's a regular, and we have lots of subs.
Well, thank you, ladies, and thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedules. And I know that the hospital and the community thanks you for your efforts here at the gift shop and also at the greeting desk we had at the front. We're going to go look at some other items here at the hospital. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're now at a unique area of the hospital that when you walk in a hospital you don't expect to see. It's an aviary. And this is one of the programs that the auxiliary has come about with. And Dorothy, could you just give a little bit of insight what this is and what's going on here?
Well, this is an aviary that we decided to get a few years ago, that it would give another thing to cheer the patients and just to bring cheer to the hospital lobby. And it was purchased, the entire case, the birds and everything was purchased by the auxiliary, and there's someone that comes and services it, takes little babies out of the nest and provided everything that was needed in the cage. That was all part of the package when we bought it.
I know when I come here in the morning, I've been impressed how many people have made comments about the aviary, but I didn't realize until after we first got that you actually have eggs laid and hatched and babies, and then the babies are given to this firm that we got this from to go on and carry on the program to other hospitals and nursing homes with new hatchlings. I thought that was unique. But as Richard's taking a picture, you just see how the attractive variety of birds we have, and I know it's really a big hit with kids. I know that we see a lot of kids come through here just watch the birds as they're waiting for a loved one who's in surgery or getting a procedure, and I think this is really unique. And I can't remember when I've walked into a hospital and seen an aviary like this. So this is another program, another project contributed by the auxiliary, and something that's going to be ongoing for a long time, we hope.
We hope so.
So let's look at another item here, and then we'll get ready to wrap things up here and let Dorothy tell us a bit more about the auxiliary. I'm now in a room that's probably unique to a certain population anyway in Jefferson County Hospital and the Fairfield community, is that we are in the mammography room. And it's unique because I doubt there's been very many men in the Fairfield community who have seen this, and there haven't been too many ladies, I'm imagining, under 30 who have seen this. But this is a program that, through primary contributions, was established as a permanent base at our hospital. For years, we had mammography provided by mobile services out of Ottumwa. And just in the past, within the past few months, really, we've had permanent mammography in our facility based on gracious donations. There, we've had donations, as we see in here, from Mary and Carl Zillman, and we've got from the Jefferson County Home, we had the American Duck Race that we sponsored every year until this last year. And we've now got also the certificate of appreciation for the Jefferson County Hospital Auxiliary. So there again, another program that's been supported very graciously and gratuitously by the Auxiliary. Who I have here now is Linda Marley, who's our manager at the radiology department. And this is a device that we hear all kinds of things about as men. We don't seem to have much empathy, but this is a mammogram unit. I'm going to ask Linda just kind of explain what this is. For the men in the audience particularly, I think a lot of ladies know what this is, but what this is and how it works.
The mammography equipment is used to do an x-ray of the breast as screening or as a diagnostic procedure for detection of breast cancer. Women annually will get mammograms as screenings as a prevention, and if they have a problem, if a lump is felt or they have breast pain or something, then a diagnostic mammogram is performed. The breast is placed in this area, and this compression paddle is lowered down to provide compression and compress the breast tissue out so that we get optimal imaging of the breast tissue. And the patient is asked to stand perfectly still and hold their breath during the procedure. Two views of each breast are taken routinely for a screening. One in this position, and then another with the head of the machine turned laterally in a secondary position. This equipment has been a nice addition to our department. We've been providing in-house mammography now since May of 2000 and have had a very successful program, and we're very happy to serve our community with this equipment. And we are able to provide it on a more regular basis, and scheduling is much easier for us at this point.
It has been really an advantage for our patients to know they can get a mammogram many times this week that we call in, where before it might have been anywhere from a week to 2 week wait because of mobile services. But you know, Linda, what's the big deal? You know, I look, I can imagine, I just kind of lean right in here. What's the big deal?
What's the big deal?
So,
put your hand right here.
All right, I'll do that right in here. So I got my hand in there.
Make
a fist right in here, okay?
And,
Oh, that's kind of tight.
yeah, that's the big deal.
I guess that would be a big deal.
Imagine that being breast tissue. And that's not even a lot of compression.
So I guess I should suggest to the male listening audience to have a little bit more empathy when the lady comes home and talks about the pressure of the mammogram, and have a little bit of sympathy about what she's gone through.
Yes, absolutely.
Men are a little bit weak in some of these areas. You know, it seems like the women are a little bit tougher about these things than the men because, well, the exams annually are a little more revealing what men typically go through. So thank you for showing us mammogram unit that we have here in our hospital. I know we're proud of this as physicians. We know it takes great radiological examinations of our patients, and when they're referred out to other outlying areas for such specialist evaluations, besides our surgeon who utilizes this quite readily, they're impressed by the quality of x-rays we can get with this machine. We've just got done looking at the mammography unit, the aviary, and some areas in the hospital. And of course, we talked about the gift shop, but I'd like for Dorothy to kind of review with us some of the finances involved with Auxillary, exactly what we're talking, hard dollars, and just give us some facts about the Auxillary that the listening audience may be interested in. And I also know she has a special interest in talking to us a little bit about the scholarship programs that they've been gracious about in the community. And when we get down with Dorothy today, I think our plans are to then eventually go down to the bargain box, which she'll probably talk a little bit about here before we get done today too. So Dorothy, can you just give us a little bit of information about the Auxillary and how it's working, a little bit about the cash, and et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. Of course, our main source of income is our bargain box, and I won't talk a lot about that because you're going down there, and I'll let Helen tell about that. And I'm not one to carry figures in my head, so if you'll forgive me, I do have some notes here. Our total donations in 1996 were close to $65,000. In 97, it was $39,000. In 98, it was over $65,000. And it just goes on like that. It varies from year to year. And then, as I said earlier in the program, that we do have this ongoing program of replacing the beds as they're needed, which is a big financial commitment that we have made. But in addition to the financial services, I would like to mention some of the just services that the volunteers come in and do for people in the hospital. We have a library cart that is delivered 3 times weekly, that they have magazines and books and coloring books, all kinds of things, whatever the patients would like to have. They get to them, and they visit with the patients as they go about. I know one lady that does it said that she feels like the service as much as just visiting with the patients, as they may not want anything to read, but they just enjoy having somebody stop by and visit with them a little bit. We've already been to the beauty shop. That's a very popular thing. Bingo. Bessie Lawson has been doing our bingo for probably the last 2 years or more, and Bessie just loves it. she just is fearful that we may not let her do it forever because she enjoys it so much. And she comes every Thursday and has helpers to play bingo with the residents in the long-term care. She makes party mix, which occasionally we have to insist that she give us a bill for the ingredients, but she'll make party mix packages, and she gets things from the gift shop for prizes, and it's just something that they really enjoy, and she enjoys doing it. We have a very extensive health education program. Right now, Yulela Conger is our chairman of that. We have our women's health awareness, our men's health awareness. We have diabetes, help with all of these various things that it just keeps growing. It started out with very basic things and just keeps growing and growing. We have a chairman, a blood bank chairman is Jean Harrison. And when the Southeast Iowa Blood Center comes, which is about every 2 months, we have 2 volunteers who help register the donors. And then she gives a report to the auxiliary as to how much blood has been drawn and how many donors they've had. We have a sewing committee. In former years, we had sewing and knitting because we would knit, the ladies would knit little caps for each baby to go home in, but of course we no longer had the babies going home from here. But we still have a very active sewing program. She makes caddies for walkers and wheelchairs, and they are sold in our gift shop at a very nominal price. So that is another service. Sherry Herman is doing that right now. We have what we call a super sitter class where we train babysitters, and we have a good turnout for that. We have been having that twice a year, and as I recall, the last time there were about 36 took the training. June Lauenberg has been doing that for us.
I know my daughters took that, and that was a very good thing. And I participated over the years with some of those, and it really does have good training because you teach basic CPR and just great handling skills and how to take care of children, and it really is a good educational program.
And that's when we hope to keep going, and we've appreciated the help we've got throughout the years. And with that class, I think Debbie Hunt provides cookies for the kids. She also provides cookies for our health program. She does this as a memorial to her mother.
Oh, that's very nice.
So we appreciate that. She's just one of those people behind the scenes, that no one even thinks how much she does for the auxiliary, but she does that through her donation of cookies. And until recent times, we did have the Lifeline. We no longer have that. Our Lifeline person is an employee of the hospital now, but we did do that for a number of years and had a lot of volunteers that helped with that. Of course, we've been to the gift shop, and you'll be going to the bargain box later, so I'll not dwell on that. But one of the things that we're most proud of, beyond our gifts to the hospital, and we do contribute some to the hospice program, but we're really proud of our scholarship program because now we are giving up to $12,000 a year in scholarships. Dr. Hill was one of our first recipients.
Sure was.
And we're always so pleased to have somebody local come back to us to be our doctors, our nurses, and so on. We give 4 in May. Actually, our bylaws read up to 4, depending on the number of applicants, but it has been pretty consistently 4 in May to seniors going into a medical field. The only 2 requirements are they must be going into a medical field and they must be residents of Jefferson County. And then in August, we give 4 to non-recent, meaning anyone who's been out of school, high school, at least a year. And we've even had ladies in their 40s. I recall one lady was even in her 50s that through circumstances had to go back and get an education to support a family. So when we say non-recent, it can cover quite an area of people there, quite an age range. And then we give 4 more in December, so that makes our total of 12 $1,000 scholarships in a year. Deb Carden, our Director of Nursing right here in the hospital, has been a recipient of our scholarship. I got permission to use her name, and I won't mention names of the others because I didn't ask if I could give their name, but there are, I know 2 nurses at least over at Medical Arts that have received it, and one that's new at the Fairfield Clinic. In fact, I think she's not a nurse, she's another capacity somewhere, but she's been one of our recipients. So, and then Dan Hill, Dan
Dan
Miller. Excuse me. See, I've got 2
Yeah.
on the brain. Dan Miller has received our scholarship several times, and he tells us that he hopes to be a physician somewhere in Iowa and would like to even be back in his home area. So that always makes us extremely happy to see that we have helped local people. And we always encourage people to inquire about our scholarships. And right now, Janet Ferrier is our scholarship chairman. And they, when the scholarships are available, the applications can be picked up at the gift shop or from our scholarship chairman. So if anyone has any questions, or they can feel free to call me, and we'd be glad to get them in touch with how to apply.
Well, thank you, Dorothy. This was really informative, and I can't believe how much I didn't know after being in town for 21 years practicing medicine about all the things Auxillary does. And I'm sure there's a large number of people out there had no concept of how busy this Auxillary is, nor how many people are volunteering their time when we have over 70 volunteers minimum participating, donating their time to the community for the health needs of our people. That's quite a statement. And anyone who does volunteer work realizes how important this is and how much of a gift of love this is for the community. So we're going to leave now. We're going to go to another retail business in town, the Bargain Box. And Dorothy, I just want to thank you for taking time with us today
Well,
and giving us all this information, which I'm sure was enjoyed by all.
it's been my pleasure. I have one more thing. We do put out an annual newsletter every year, and if anyone has any questions or about what we do, this would be a good way to find out. And I do have a lot of extra copies, and almost any of our board members or just auxiliary members would be glad to see that you get a copy of this, because it just goes right down all the different committees and tells what we do. And again, as I said in the beginning, it's mind-boggling.
Well, thank you, Dorothy. And we'll meet you later back at the Bargain Box. A program about the hospital auxiliary would not be complete without a inclusion of a topic about the Bargain Box, which is a major part of the hospital auxiliary as far as its funding and its volunteerism. And I've asked for one of the volunteers to show us around the Bargain Box. I'm just going to start off basically by asking who are you and what's your title and what goes on here?
My name is Helen Lundquist, and I'm the manager, and I'm not a volunteer. I'm the only paid one here. But everybody else is volunteer, and they all have their different jobs to do. We've got a lady back here now. She's marking housewares for us today. And
How many volunteers do you think you might use in a day? How many people do you actually keep here working during the day, Helen?
in a day, it can vary from 1 to 2 people per shift, and we have 3 shifts. And then we have the extra people, like the one guy comes in and does books, another one does the vacuum sweeping, then we have markers, so it varies day to day.
So I mean anywhere from 6 to 8 to 9 people a day that are volunteering their time here to make this work.
And over a month's time, we could have a good 50 different people, not same ones over and over, but different.
I know at the auxiliary earlier at the hospital, they talked about there's over 75 volunteers that work on this in the auxiliary actively with programs. And how many people do you think on a routine basis or on a rotation of work here that you rely upon just for the Bargain Box pretty much? Is it somebody that just volunteer from time to time, or do you have people actually on the schedule to show up on a scheduled basis?
Yes, we have some that'll work maybe the one shift once a month, and then we have some that'll work 3 days a week, every week.
Wow, every week.
And it just, everything in between. But there's a lot of them that are on every week. They
Yes.
come in same time.
So we might
every
be
day.
talking 30 or 40 individuals donating
Yes.
time to make this thing work. That's great. This is a part of the Bargain Box most people may not be seeing unless they're actually bringing something in to donate to the Bargain Box. As we're in the alley side, as you know, may not know, the Bargain Box is on the south side of Fairfield Square, and the door is in an alley. I don't know what street it's off of here, where you asked that we bring our clothes and different items to donate to the box. Is that true?
Yes.
So could we just ask you to kind of walk us through, Helen, just show us where we are and kind of go through what some of the duties are and take us to the front and then kind of finish up me back here after we look at the front a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, Helen?
Well, it starts here. It comes in the door. Goes over here to our left. This is what we have yet.
Richard's row here.
This is what we have yet to sort. When we sort it, we bring it up here. And this is my sorting box.
Now, Helen, I noticed all those sacks. Do most of them come in unfolded, just thrown in a sack, and you had the response?
Yes.
Do they come in most of them cleaned, or you have to go through cleaning, or?
No.
Okay.
We don't clean them, but a good portion of what we have is not good. It's just leftover rummage sale stuff that can't be sold. Somebody dies and they've had it in their house for 30, 40 years, and we get that. But usually we can glean a little something from it. But we do appreciate when people bring a small amount of nice stuff rather than a large amount of old stuff.
Yeah. So it really helps if they could bring things clean and folded and separated for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We appreciate the contributions, but it'd be even more appreciated if they could bring it in that kind of fashion.
Something that we can use. Yeah.
We have a nice lady over here. What is your name? Can you give us your name here today?
Yeah, I'm Libby Clifford.
Libby Clifford.
Yeah.
And you've been here working here for an hour or two anyway today, Libby?
It's about 2.5 hours I work.
And you've been a member or doing volunteer work here for quite some time?
Since I moved here.
How long's that been now, Libby?
About 10 years.
Wow. There's another example of volunteerism in Fairfield.
Yeah, and I enjoy it. It's nice.
Well, thank you, Libby. Thank you.
Yeah, she's one of our faithful. And anyway, we start here and then we just kind of spread things out. We put holiday stuff, out of season stuff over there, books go there, housewares there. Over here we put the clothes we're going to mark. Right now I'm bringing up Christmas stuff from the basement.
Like gifts and decorations? or-
Decorations, yes.
So pretty much we're just looking at maybe small items and clothing. That's what you're interested in?
Yes, we don't take furniture. Once in a while somebody will dump off a dresser or a mattress, but we really don't want it because we don't have the space. But sometimes we have to, or else we have to pay to have somebody haul it off. But a small thing like a small chair or a small stand is fine. But we really like puzzles, books, we like dishes, towels, bedding. Those are really our best sellers.
Those are your most popular items then?
Yes, curtains.
What might be an average turnaround time from something hits the door to where something might be sold? Are we looking at several weeks or a few
No.
days? Or?
It all depends. Now, the bottom of the pile, I haven't got to for probably 2 weeks. But when they come in, what's in front is what I mark immediately. And kid started up a toy.
That set we got in today.
Yeah, we had a woman walked in the back door. She gave me this Japanese tea set. She marked it. We took it up. A guy bought it. Hadn't been here 10 minutes.
Well, great.
Got a good price out
That's
of it.
great.
And it was nice and
Great.
clean. But clothes and stuff, it just depends. On Monday, it's so stacked up, comes in so heavy. And that's one thing that would help if people would bring it toward the last of the week.
Okay.
Now, this is Thursday, and as you see, the pile isn't that high.
What is it? They just clean on the weekend, decide to unload
Rummage
it after the week.
sales.
Oh, I see. I see.
And they just bring it all in at
Okay.
one time, and it just really, sometimes it's just every aisle is full, that side's full, and you just can't hardly walk through here on Mondays.
Why don't we take a look at the front here, Richard, and Helen will take us up there and just kind of show us the front. I know we've had a program before on FPAC for the bargain box, but I just want to kind of do a little overview here, look at things here again. Panoramic, what we talking, Richard? Okay. We're now back in the front of the bargain box, and Helen, this is a pretty good size there, but you really do keep it filled up with a lot of items.
And it's rotated constantly. People don't realize that, but we do rotate it constantly. Every day, new stuff's put out, old stuff's taken out and thrown away. It's just constantly rotated.
We're now about the middle of November, so I can imagine with Christmas coming up, you could sure use some good toys.
Some nice toys, yes. They're very big sellers, nice toys.
Do you have anybody who does repair work on toys, or pretty much that's the way it's going to be when they bring it in?
That's the way it is when it comes in.
So I guess if there's any plug we can put in today or for FPAC, for people viewing this, if they bring in toys and try to make a quality that child can really appreciate. Don't try to bring in broken things in.
Yes.
We've got Richard kind of doing a panoramic, but I'm going to get here to the desk here, Helen. I'm going to ask for one of the volunteers to give us her name.
Norma Woods.
Norma Woods? And how long have you been doing this here, Norma?
2 years.
2 years. And how often do you end up working here? Do you work once a week? Or?
Once a week, 2 hours and a half.
So really nice. We sure thank you for your volunteerism. It's been really nice. It's been appreciated. I've been surprised how many people are putting an effort here into our community. And you're pretty much today just more or less just helping with the sell goods as they come to the counter?
Yes, and help with stocking things.
Do you have people come in and say, can you help me find something? Like, can you help me find a certain blouse or a pair of pants? Or
Yeah.
you know right where to go to find it?
Well, sometimes.
Sometimes. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here today. Do we have any other volunteers we can get a hold of here, Helen, before we get out of this?
Kathleen?
Kathleen. We have another volunteer I want to get.
There you go.
She's wanting to run off here. She's wanting to be shy on us here.
Well, if somebody takes my picture and I don't know it, it's fine. But if I know it,
So what's your name, Kathleen?
Kathleen Bogner,
Kathleen Bogner. And how long have you been working volunteer work here at the Bargain Box?
a little over 10 years.
10 years. So you know how things are really working around here, don't you?
Yes, and we have a good manager, so they're working really well.
Things seem pretty well organized here.
She is organized.
And how often do you come here to volunteer?
Well, I come once a week on Thursdays unless I'm out of town.
Well, that's sure appreciated too. There again, volunteerism in action. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here today. So Helen, I'm just, I've been here a few times. I don't want to bring things up, but I am impressed how well organized things are. You've got your clothes and your belts organized, and your book area, your toys. You've got a crib full of stuffed animals and dolls. So it would be easy to find things, I would think, when people come here looking for something particular.
We try to. We try very hard to keep it organized and clean, and we've had a lot of compliments from out-of-towners that come in.
I guess if anything I want to find out about is, where does this money go? I mean, these are items that are donated from the community, and you sell these items, I know at a particular discount, at a low rate, because when I've seen some prices, things are really a good buy. Where does the money go then? I mean,
It goes to the hospital auxiliary, and then they use it for their different projects. The main one, of course, is to buy things for the hospital.
yes.
And I believe right now we're buying the beds.
Yes, that's the program we got told by Dorothy today.
Yeah, and you've already gotten some of the new ones in, I understand.
Yes, and an expensive program. It sounds like about $120,000 over the next 5 years.
Yes, 4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
So you're at least giving us, the hospital, about $30,000 to $40,000 a year by sales, all based on all this volunteer work and what the community's been giving to the Fairfield community.
Yes. And then they have their scholarships, and that's $12,000
Yes.
a year, and that's for anybody in the medical field, recent and non-recent grads. And then there's our 2 signs up there, Richard, and kind of gives you an idea. There's different things that we do.
See, we didn't know how much the mammogram machine costs. Up there is about $10,000.
That's
so.
what we contributed.
Wow.
And we've bought 2 rocking chairs. We've bought the chair for the beauty shop.
I know that Dorothy mentioned Lifeline that we used to run, but it's been taken over by the hospital now. But
Yes.
I see up there you donated over almost $31,000 just on that program.
Yes.
That's really been a valuable asset for my elderly patients. Know they can push that button and get someone to respond immediately if they should be down and couldn't get help. So anyway, I guess I'm going to wrap things up here by fighting with the trucks here a little bit. Thanking Helen for her time and showing us the bargain box. And I just can't tell you how much the physicians of the community appreciate this work. I know I speak for the citizens after they've seen this video who are, I'm sure, surprised how much volunteer work has been put through in this effort and how great it should feel to know that what we're giving into the community is coming back to the community on a constructive basis. It's refreshing, and I guess that speaks well for Fairfield, speaks well of the United States, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Of human nature, Americans.
People are very generous.
So thank you for watching our program today, and look forward to another Foundation program, and thank you FPAC for allowing us to be on with this program.